I don't know how you're feeling today. I suspect for some it's a painful saying goodbye to people who are having to leave your household. For others it marks a moment, the ending of a very strange Christmas. For all of us, I suspect, it might mark a moment where we feel slightly fatter, look slightly gloomily towards the new year with all that still concerns us. For others, of course, Christmas just brings back memories of Christmases past and loved ones that we see no longer. So what can we say to you today? Well, let us look at the gospel and the characters that we meet in that passage. Because, of course, in the church, we're only really just getting going in this Christmas story. Just as others begin to take down their Christmas decorations and pull out their trees and put them ready for the skip, we are just beginning. We are moving ever more deeply into this wonderful unfolding story of God's love for us. But what of those three examples? Well, firstly, from our gospel today, there is, of course, that wonderful group of shepherds, utterly ordinary men, doing an utterly ordinary job. Although a job that in their day actually was seen with certain levels of suspicion. People weren't quite sure about shepherds. They were always worried about them being around at night. There was a suspicion. They were not viewed very well in the society of their time. So isn't it interesting that this uneducated group of shepherds, slightly despised by the society around them, are the very group that those angels proclaim that message to? And what is their response? Well, after they get over the fear and the angels have left, they immediately, corporately decide to go and see this thing that has been told to them. Their job goes out the window. We hope that nothing happened to their sheep, but they could have, potentially by what they did, been in an awful lot of trouble. And yet they go with haste, and they stand, and they see the incarnation, God amongst us. They believe completely in the depths of their hearts. They are filled with joy at what they see in front of them. And so should we. That God loves us so much that he comes amongst us in human form, to live a life like ours, to experience it, but to glorify it, to pull our humanity into his divinity, for us to be joined with him forevermore. The incarnation will, of course, lead to the cross. But those shepherds are filled with a real joy. And just like genuine joy, which is so closely linked to that emotion of love, they simply cannot contain it. Imagine the scene as they run into the local town to proclaim what they have seen in the early hours of the morning. Imagine those people hearing these strange people of the night dancing for joy, proclaiming what God has done. We too are called to do likewise. In the darkness of this world, in the uncertainty that is all around us, we are called as the church, you and I, to proclaim that incredible message of light and love and peace and joy and goodwill. To say, even though the initial celebrations may be over, even though the turkeys may be gone, the real meaning of Christmas is with us forever. So let us, in this season of Christmas, continue to have joy in our hearts and to proclaim that joy and that love to a world so in need. The final message is the message of Mary, who we hear ponders all these things in her heart. A heart that right at the beginning of this good news has said yes to the incarnation, has said yes to the message of the Archangel Gabriel, who has experienced this Christ, this baby growing in her womb, has given birth and is feeding the creator of the universe on her breast, ponders all these things in her heart. And we too are called to ponder the magnitude, the sheer depth and height and wonder of God's love. And we too are called to make a place in our heart once again in these days of Christmas, that we may realize what the incarnation means today and forever. Happy Christmas.